Hi, welcome to Wild for Whiskey. I'm Mary.
I'm Iran.
And today we're going to be trying a Sagamore Spirit Rye Whiskey. We were down at the Sagamore Spirit Distillery in Baltimore a few weeks ago, and we picked up this exclusive distillery release. It is a Woodstove Imperial Stout Cask Aged Rye.
Yeah, so Sagamore Spirits, it's a blend. Their thing is a blend of rye whiskeys. One of them is high rye, 95% rye, 5% malted barley. The other one is a low rye, which is 51% rye, the minimum to be called a rye, 45% corn, and 4% malted barley. After it's aged 4 years, and then it's aged an additional 13 months in the Woodstove Imperial Stout Barrels. And an interesting fact about it is that it's the barrels, the stout is aged in Sagamore barrels.
Yeah,
so,
by Monument City Brewing Company.
Yeah, so it goes from Sagamore to Monument City, and then Monument City back to Sagamore, and then they age, I guess, this bourbon for an additional 13 months. This whiskey, I'm sorry, for an additional 13 months, and yeah, now it's here for us to enjoy. So, go ahead.
Yeah, sure, let's go ahead.
That's where that
right there. Another thing to note is this is one of Sagamore Spirit's first releases where they're using some of their own product. And so when they first started out, they were just using MGP rye whiskeys.
Yeah.
And that's what most of the Sagamore products on the shelves these days are. But the Sagamore Bottled and Bond was the first regular rye whiskey that was just, made with the grain grown at Sagamore Farm in Maryland. Yeah. And then, distilled at their distillery. And so this features both a mix of MGP and some of their own distillate. Yeah. And so their distillate's noticeably different from the MGP products that they've been using.
Yeah.
And so the MGP, it's obviously a rye whiskey, but like it doesn't have a lot of those quintessential rye attributes.
It's like a bourbon, called bourbon drinker's rye kind of.
Yeah, it's more of a bourbon drinker's rye.
Yeah. But their stuff is like much more like rye forward.
Yeah, Sagamore stuff is a lot more rye forward. It has a lot more of those herbaceous and minty type notes that some rye whiskeys have, and so this bottle has a little bit of that going on in it.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let's go ahead and taste it.
First the nose. So vanilla, like campfire.
Yeah, it tastes or smells a little bit like like the remnants of a campfire, or like a little bit of wood smoke or something.
Yeah, like you just had like some s'mores with your buddies. I can pick up like a little like graham cracker, like even a little bit of like milk chocolate, not like heavy dark chocolate, but like milk chocolate.
There's definitely a little bit of a cocoa note to the nose, which is very nice.
And I can pick up like a little bit of even like a marshmallow. I don't know if it's just sugar smell.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's got a marshmallow sweetness to it.
Yeah. I guess now to taste. The nose transfers to the palate very well.
Yeah, it does.
You can get, I guess like Mary was explaining before, their own distillate is much more rye forward, so you can get you get those rye spices, but it like balances very well with the the vanilla, the graham, the marshmallow, even a little bit, not as much chocolate anymore as the nose, but you can still taste like, it's like almost like a s'more, like she said before, like I get the smoke as well.
Yeah, I still find it fairly chocolatey. I get like a lot of like chocolate, almost Nutella sort of, like there's like that hazelnut chocolate aspect, and then obviously the minty freshness, and so I think those things like really blend well together. So it's got like a little bit of s'more, a little bit of hazelnut,
a little like nutty chocolate.
Yeah, some nutty chocolate to it.
Do they even make like minty Nutella?
I don't think so. I would think that actually probably wouldn't taste good, but here it tastes good. It comes together really well. I like the freshness that the Sagamore Spirit rye whiskey gives to this.
It's like interesting what's the percentage of their stuff versus the MGP stuff they use, because you don't get the corn. You don't get much of the taste of like the others like Sagamore Spirit, like the classic like MGP like blended because everyone's had the high rye and their low rye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, and I think in the finish there's like a lot of the chocolate from the stout barrels.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what lingers. It's sweet and chocolatey.
Yeah, it does linger. Yeah, like I guess for me the palate, the initial palate was like more like kind of the campfire smell plus the rye, and yeah, I can say the finish is really chocolatey. So we found it would be interesting to compare it to the KBS, the Bardstown KBS collaboration. This is a 10-year-old Tennessee bourbon, finishing for 15 months in a KBS stout barrel. So both are stouts. Obviously, the KBS, the Bardstown is a bourbon versus a rye. We thought it would be an interesting like comparison, just for the the finishing on it. This is a Dickel. Well, I guess people assume it's Dickel. They don't say it, but yeah, it's one of my favorite bourbons I've ever had. As you can see, the bottle's running low. I have a couple backups, but yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the KBS collaboration with Bardstown is pretty much well beloved, and so we thought it would be interesting to compare them because the Sagamore bottle is half the cost of the KBS bottle.
Yeah.
Obviously limited by it being a distillery exclusive, but if you're in the Baltimore area, you could easily get one.
Yeah, just hit us up and we'll buy you one for you next time we're around. No? Too much, I'm sorry.
Alright, so obviously it's going to have a different flavor profile, but we wanted to see, how similar they were.
Yeah. You can smell the nice, like, crisp mineral water.
Not sure how you smell minerality, but...
No, it's just... Maybe because it's the both stout barrels, like, they mask each other. And I pinpoint down the differences. I don't know. I might be overcomplicating myself.
It mostly smells vanilla-y to me. Again, I mean, it's a bourbon as opposed to a rye, so that's to be expected, but I mostly just get vanilla on the nose. I don't think the nose is nearly as complex.
No. It's good. It's weird how similar they are.
Yeah, they're really quite similar. I mean, again, it probably is due to the stout barrel finishing. But, yeah, I feel like the Bardstown basically just tastes like a s'more in a glass.
Mm-hmm.
Like vanilla, graham cracker, marshmallow, chocolate, darker chocolate, I think, than the rye whiskey. But a darker chocolate finish. The chocolate really persists into the finish, off the palate and everything, more than the rest of the other flavors do. I do really like the complexity of the rye whiskey, I think, actually. I mean, I enjoy both of them very much. I think they both make great dessert cocktails.
Yeah, they do.
Like a chocolate old-fashioned or something like that. But I actually do really appreciate how this is a little bit more complex.
And it's also interesting is, like we mentioned, this is, the Bardstown is 10 years old, a 10-year-old bourbon aged for longer in a stout barrel. This is 4 years old aged. It's only a couple months difference, and 13 months versus 15. And you still get all those, I feel like you get the same, like, stout barrel-y, like, vanilla, like, s'more-y taste to it. But I guess if you like rye whiskeys, it's, like feels like it almost kicks it up a notch. Because this, I would say the KBS, even though it's higher proof, it's 110 proof versus 92 proof, the Sagamore. They drink pretty much the same. It's like very very easy to drink. Yeah, like if you're into like Mary, for example, she loves her complexity in her alcohol, her whiskeys, and it is much more complex. the Bardstown compared to this, it's also like has like all these flavors, but it seems like a much more easier sipper than the Sagamore, at least in my opinion.
I think they're both pretty easy sippers,
Yeah.
and I think they're both delicious in their own respects, and I really like the herbaceousness and minty flavors that the Sagamore has on top of the s'more flavor profile.
Yeah. And like Mary mentioned before, this was around $80.
Yeah, that one was $80 at the distillery.
And this one, it's around 160 if I 150.
Yeah.
Depends on where.
Yeah, you can occasionally. This bottle was released about a year ago.
Yeah.
But you can still occasionally find them floating around just because I think the price tag makes them cost prohibitive for a lot of people.
Yeah. And yeah, we still see them around.
Yeah.
And they're both really good. I would recommend anyone get both of them if they can. Like, I have several of these ready for once we kill this one.
Yeah, and especially if you love chocolate flavored stuff, or if you've always wanted to taste chocolate in your bourbon, but you have difficulty, experiencing that with your palate, this would be a wonderful way of doing that. Finally tasting, a chocolate flavored whiskey almost, but not flavored added. Obviously, just a cocoa is a essential part of the palate.
Yeah. And finished whiskeys, they're a whole different experience. It's a great way to. If you're just starting your whiskey journey, it's a great way to like start. It's easy. It's more approachable and like it's more in your face than most like just straight bourbons or straight ryes. So yeah, it's just really good whiskeys.
Yeah, we'd recommend both of them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please comment below if you had any of them. If you any comments on them, any of your opinions on Sagamore, on Bardstown. And thank you so much for watching.
Thanks.